Good morning, Facebook, and good morning, TikTok, or maybe good afternoon, depending where you are. This is going to be a live stream all about light languages. So what I'm going to explain is how you learn it, what it is, how do you start speaking, how I started speaking it. Is there more than one? I can tell you already there is. Anything you want to ask about light languages, I'm here to answer your questions. And we will finish by me leading a guided immersion, which is a little bit like a meditation. And I'm going to be using Arcturian light language to guide you through a process where, if you're a starseed, if you believe that you are here for something more, but you can't quite tell what it is, what your mission is, or maybe you know deep down inside, but you haven't got courage to step into it, we will bring Arcturian energy to activate this part of you so you can be bold and courageous doing what your heart desires and what you meant to do here on planet Earth. So this is what the plan is. We're going to be about 30 minutes. If you have any questions about light languages, I will answer them. There's been a lot of questions on my TikTok, mainly how do I start speaking? How do you learn? Is it like a made-up language that I spoke as a kid? Is it dangerous? Is something taking over? So all of these questions will be answered today in this session of all about light languages. So before we get started, I will ask you to share it with whoever you feel will benefit from it. And if you can let me know whether I can be heard and seen well on both Facebook and TikTok. It's my first time on TikTok and not the first time on Facebook, but I hope it all works. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. And let's start about what actually is light language. So maybe you've heard someone speaking some weird sounds. Sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes it's melodic, sometimes there will be clicking sounds, sometimes it sounds more like a proper language. And this is something that we do as starseeds. And this is the light language. And is it like a normal language? Very similar. It's basically what a light language is a language of light beings from different dimensions that you speak as a human being here on Earth. So just like a normal language, people say it doesn't have structure. Well, I would argue with that because I believe if you speak it well, if you've had it for long enough, there is structure. It sounds not just like random sounds, and you hear me speaking Arcturian. It's very similar to Arabic. Sometimes at the beginning, it does sound like a baby talk because you start making those sounds that your mouth is adjusting, etc., etc. But basically, all a light language is transmission of energy and frequency that takes form of a sound, of words. There are different ways you can transmit energy, and you can utilize energy in healing in different ways. Like, for example, my husband Aaron, whose account I'm using on Facebook at the moment, he channels different codes and transmissions, be it abundance, be it health, be it relationships, and he also interprets that energy in visual form, so he gets visions. When I elevate my consciousness and when I meet different races of light beings, be it Pleiadians, Arcturians, Sirians, Andromedans, for some unexplained yet reason, I get a download of light language. And it's not like a human language where you go to, let's say, a language school or you take classes and you learn grammar and you learn all the vocabulary and it's all complicated and you screw it up more than once and you make mistakes. This kind of you already know because it is your soul's memory from your incarnations in those different dimensions prior to you being born here on Earth to your mum and your dad. So quite possibly our soul has lived somewhere in the multiverse for more than one lifetime. And I know that in the New Age movement, there's this kind of thing, old souls, new souls. I think probably most of us have lived more than one lifetime. So if you are channeling light language, it doesn't mean that it is something that something takes over and you channel it. It is more likely you're just remembering your soul's language from a different lifetime. And how that helps is that it connects you to your soul's memories. It also elevates your consciousness because this language contains the vibration of those beings, of that energy. So if you want to connect with your soul family, if you want to discover your starseed origins, this is a good way to start. I can see that on Facebook I'm being heard loud and clear because there's comments, so thank you so much. TikTok, I'm here with you for the first time ever. I've been on the app for a week, so let me know in a comment whether it's all fine. I've got a mic, so hopefully it is fine. But if you have any questions, just let me know. It's all new to me, but the questions came mostly from TikTok, so I'm here to explain all these burning questions about how do you learn light language, how do you know it's not made up, etc. So I'm going to address that. So basically, light languages, to sum it up, are languages of beings of light from different dimensions. We call it light because it's kind of like in Star Wars. There's the dark side and there's the light side. I'm a big fan of Star Wars, if you haven't guessed yet. But it is exactly like that. The whole universe is yin and yang. So there are beings in different dimensions that kind of are. By the way, people send me some invitation to go live to get on TikTok and they keep disappearing. I have no idea what it is. Please don't take offense that I'm declining. It's just on you. So anyway, so there are different beings in different dimensions, and there are good and there are bad. And there are different races of star nations that are here to help humanity, and there are some races that are here to control humanity. So when I talk about light languages or languages of light, I talk about those beings who are on the light side of the force, who are here to help, to create, to help us ascend our consciousness, and basically for us to be more free and less controlled, because there's way too much control in this world, be it financial system, be it education system, be it healthcare, food, everything. And we can be more revolutionary and we can protest and manifest and do all of that, or we could learn how to be smarter, how to create our own reality. And a good start is to learn how to elevate your consciousness, because in case you don't know yet, I'm here to tell you, you are not a linear being. You are a multidimensional being. You have a potential to exist in more than just 3D physical reality. Your body, yes, that binds you to this reality, but your consciousness, it's infinite. It is immortal. It's like what many religions would refer to as your soul. This cannot be destroyed, and it's just there. And you can use this connection to your soul to travel through the multiverse. And light language is just an external kind of, I would say, symptom that you have come into contact with different energies. So how do I start speaking the light language? How does it all come about? So you don't learn it. I've already said that. You don't just sit in a classroom and cram all the vocabulary in your head, etc., etc. This is something that literally is easy and effortless. When you come into contact with energy, strong spiritual energy from a different dimension, chances are this will wake something up inside of you. And I feel like it's probably your dormant DNA, because there's so much of our genetic material that the scientists haven't even explained what it all is responsible for. So it probably sits somewhere there. And then all of a sudden, the language of your soul comes up. And this sometimes happens spontaneously. And that's why many people who do speak light language don't even know where it comes from. My first light language, Arcturian, 15 years ago, it came in church. I was a part of a charismatic church group, and I experienced something that Christians call the baptism in the Holy Spirit, which is basically an encounter with the soul's energy, with the pure energy, God energy. And this is where this language came about. It came with intention. I wanted to have it. I was always drawn to this supernatural world, and it did. I didn't know it was of Arcturian origin at the time. Later on, when I met Arcturians, I kind of realized this is Arcturian language. And every subsequent light language that I've got, it was more of a conscious process, because how it happened is, for example, we would set an intention to meet Pleiadians, which is another race of light beings, and then my husband Aaron would get visions, would get information, etc. And what I would get is I would get a download of a language. So it's literally very, 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 very kind of instant. It's effortless. You don't have to learn it. It just comes. And sometimes it comes very, very small. So sometimes you just get this couple of words in your head, and you need to say them out loud, and more will follow. And that's how it happened with my Arcturian. First it came a little bit, then more. And you will hear it, and you will see that it's a fully blown language. And for example, my Lemurian came like that, very limited. Same with Syrian. However, for example, there's other languages like Lyran, and what's the other one that Atlantean, the language of Atlantis, which is not a galactic language, it's a terrestrial language, that came already fully blown, like with all the vocabulary, etc. So that's how it gets activated. And for those of you who are new to me and new to Aaron, we do have regular light language sessions and activations where we bring energies of different beings and we activate that languages in people. And I'm sure that probably there's some people even here on these live streams that have had their light language activated during our sessions. It's really a beautiful, beautiful moment. And what happens is usually those light beings are waiting, and they cannot wait to welcome you to the soul family, because they can be your guides, they can give you wisdom, support, etc., etc. And light language can help you connect with them. So we will be holding a session like that on the 24th of February. It will be in a separate webinar room. If you are interested, comment activation, and we will send you a link to it at some point today. So if you want to do that, then that's available for you. It's all obviously comes by consent. If it's all still new to you, or you don't want to have it, then you don't need to have it activated. But you can still come and learn and be a little bit curious. Larry says it's a super electrifying session. Oh yes. There is a lot of energy, and I know that even some people who listen to my very brief TikTok light language transmissions, obviously on TikTok you're limited to 60 seconds. People said, "Oh my God, what have you done? What happened? I just felt this bolt of energy, or I started crying, I started getting emotional, etc., etc." This is all normal. This is just energy. When energy comes up, it wakes up something in your soul. So if you sometimes feel upset, if you feel emotional, if you feel like good or bad emotions. Some people, like for example, have bad emotions when I speak Atlantean because there's been a lot of trauma that happened when Atlantis was destroyed. So that is absolutely normal. It's just your body responding to energy. When I speak it, I feel nothing at all. And I can tell you, unless I'm getting a new language, sometimes I feel energy. Like, for example, when I speak Andromedan, I feel strong energy. Most of the time, I feel nothing at all because my body is adjusted to it. When it's all new to you, you might be very sensitive to it. So there's definitely energy in this language. But there is one more thing I wanted to cover today, which is can you understand light language? Because some people say, "Oh my God, this is just something completely random. This is just some blah 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 gibberish, etc." Well, if you hear someone, let's say you're an English speaker and you don't speak Chinese, when you hear Chinese, it probably will sound to you like gibberish. Or if you don't know some African language, that's probably what's going to sound like to you. And just the fact that you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not a valid language. And you can absolutely get an interpretation of light language. The language tells a story. Sometimes when it's just energy and it's just in its infancy and you just have the first kind of, I would say, light language baby talk, then this is something that might not have much of a meaning because you're just training, you just kind of like, your mouth adjusts, etc. But when it starts flowing, you can absolutely understand. How you do it? Well, there's a couple of ways. So first of all, you need to listen with your heart and with your elevated consciousness, and you have to have intention to understand. So for me, when I speak it, sometimes my mind just goes somewhere wandering and I don't really focus on what I'm saying, and this just doesn't come from the conscious part of your brain. That's it. So when I speak in English, it comes from a conscious part of my brain. I'm planning what I'm going to say next. When I speak light language, it just flows. It's effortless. So that's why when you want to understand it, you need to elevate your consciousness, and it's easier to do it in a meditative state, and you just open yourself up to this energy with a power of intention, and you get the interpretation. You might get a picture, you might get words, you might get just the gist of what is being said, but it is absolutely possible. So for example, when I spoke Arcturian many times, my husband will get visuals with it, and that's how it happens. So yeah, Larry says you can actually feel the words. Absolutely. Marsha says I can't understand the words, just the emotion. Absolutely, it's just reading energy basically, and you can actually sometimes understand the meaning of the expression, and it's easier with the languages that you have been accustomed to. So for me, Arcturian is the easiest to understand. Whereas, for example, Pleiadian is just energy. It's just so super fast, I can't even keep up. So yes, you can understand it. But then there's another question that is quite connected to it. Is it just like a made-up language that I used as a child? Lots of people said that. And there is absolutely kids being born who speak light language, and just the system wipes it out of them because, oh my God, this is nonsense, stop doing it, etc., etc. Well, I know that there's been a lot of people who attended our classes that, for example, a mum would say, oh my God, my kid speaks Pleiadian, that's incredible, and I actually even understand what it says. And there's a lot of so-called rainbow children being born, kids who remember their previous lifetimes, kids who remember that they had different incarnations than here on Earth. So if you have a child that speaks some made-up language, do not squash it down. There's nothing dangerous. Let them express their soul. Sometimes kids have so much wisdom. And I've heard some absolutely wondrous stories about kids who are kids in their bodies, but the consciousness is quite advanced. So absolutely, you sometimes would be more opened up with your consciousness to different realms before the system, before the conditioning gets you down and puts you in your place and says it's all 3D, this is it, get a job, get education, get debt, buy a house, and that's your kind of life, and pay your bills. So, the choice is yours. It's like with imagination. It's like with art and expression. Why we not encouraged to be more artistic? This is like art is now dismissed as opposed to, let's say, mathematics. I know when I was in school, maths and geography and all these kind of sciences, they were praised, whereas like music and painting is less valid. It's not. We need more artists. So there's a lot of things that the system of education kills, and whether it's our imagination or creativity or light languages, never ever grow up. It's a trap. So even Jesus was saying that you need to become like children. So it is a good way to learn from your kids. If they speak light language, go for it. If you remember speaking light language as a child, try to connect with those memories. It's somewhere out there. Once you've got it, it never ever disappears. You might have put layers over the top. You might have, put all the kind of, bills, family, job, all of that. But somewhere out there is still going to be in your core. So, okay, we've got a couple more questions here and a couple more comments. Constance says music is so important to one's growth and creativity. Absolutely. Sound has power. Sound has the power to heal. Sound has also power to destroy. Sound is powerful, and we sometimes don't appreciate it. But how many times you've listened to some beautiful music and that invokes emotions? I had that many times. I've always been very sensitive to sound. Maybe that's why I get all these light languages, because I'm so sensitive to sound, like and energy. It's called being an empath, and I don't wear it as some kind of badge of honor. I learn to protect myself and not to take the bad energy onto me, which is a completely different subject. But for example, when we lived in Wales, every single time I heard the Welsh national anthem, especially if it was on not Liberty Stadium, it was the Millennium Stadium back then, the tears would just stream down my face. I just couldn't help it. It was so much energy and it's beautiful. I believe it's the most beautiful national anthem in the world, but even though I'm not Welsh. But I absolutely loved it. And it's the same when we used to support Man United, go to Old Trafford. When I lived in Old Trafford in Manchester, we would go to the stadium and all these electric emotions and people chanting. I always loved it. I really get moved at big events like that. And this is the power of sound. No matter what team you support, if people come in unity and sing together, there's power in that. Same with church. In church, I used to play in a worship band for like way back, and I've always loved music. So Peter asked, wondering what happens when I hear two different light languages at the same time, like Arcturian and Syrian. Is that an energy mix? It absolutely is. I sometimes swap between them very quickly and ask myself the same question. Is this going to mix up? I'm sure it will. Yes, it can mix up. Every language and every energy of every life being is very distinct. It's got its own frequency. So, for example, Syrian light language is very grounded, very calm. Arcturian, similar, but Pleiadian is like high frequency, high pitched. It's really fast. It's really full of joy. So that's what happens. Yeah. Lara says education system needs to change. That's the comments from Facebook. For those of you who are watching on TikTok, you can't see those comments. Constance says, I love Pleiadian light language, out of this world, very high vibe. I always wanted to sing and dance when I feel this energy. That's what happened when I first got Pleiadian. I haven't spoken Pleiadian yet on TikTok, so not many people. I feel a bit self-conscious, to be honest, with Pleiadian. I speak it on our Quantum Club, which is our kind of like closed group, but Pleiadian just sounds really out of this planet. I've got a video with Pleiadian light language ready to go that I've recorded for TikTok, and it's gonna come. I just honestly, if people think that let's say Arcturian sounds weird, at least it sounds like a language of Earth, like whereas Pleiadian is just madness. It's like wild, but it's beautiful energy. It's really powerful energy. So that's how it works. So let me see if there's any other questions, guys. If you have questions, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on TikTok, type them on and let me know. I can see lots of people saying on here, thank you for sharing your live, very cool. I'll try to appear more regularly once I get the technology all sorted. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know, because soon we're gonna go to a guided immersion and Arcturian light language transmission. So before we go into this meditative state, if you have any more questions, let me know. In the meantime, I'll remind you that I'm going to have a proper class with presentation, with light language activation. If you're interested in it, comment activation. We're going to send you a link. If you are on TikTok, then you could go to my profile, and there is a link to Linktree, and light language activation is right at the top. It's absolutely free. I've always felt that when it comes to light language, I've received it for free. I want to give it free. We've got different paid programs available as well for those who want to develop their spiritual connection with their guides, etc. But when it comes to light languages, I always felt that I need to do regular free classes. It's free for anyone attending live, because I appreciate your time and I like the fact that we'll co-create this experience together with us. So that's what it is. If you can't make it live, you can join our Quantum Club, which is weekly sessions that have different light beings, different classes, and this is where I hold monthly light language activations and transmissions. So if you haven't had your light language activated and you can't make the live class, you can always join the Quantum Club. Otherwise, just say activation, comment, and we're going to send you the link to the class. I'm just quickly checking if there's no more questions. If there isn't, let's go into an immersion. So what is that immersion going to be like? It's a little bit like a meditation. If you're new to meditating, don't worry, you don't have to do anything. The only thing I would say is focus on your breath and try to quieten your mind. It's normal for thoughts to pop up. It's normal to think, oh my God, what I'm gonna have for dinner or breakfast, what I'm doing tomorrow, or this is your conscious mind just kind of dancing a Macarena in your mind. That's normal. Try not to push it down, just recognize it and dismiss it and just say, okay, that's fine. I'm going to get back to it later. It's only going to be 10 minutes for myself. And at some point, I'm going to bring Arcturian energy down. For those of you who don't know Arcturians, this is a beautiful energy of unconditional love. And the intention for this immersion will be for you to have courage to follow your heart, to follow your mission here on planet Earth, and to boldly speak your truth and express what you're here to do. So this is the intention we are setting in for today. If you want to join in, just send a telepathic yes, and we're going to get started now. So let me just check the banner here. It's going to be guided meditation or guided immersion. It's only going to be about 5 to 10 minutes. I know that maybe social media is not the best conduit for this type of activities, but yeah, this is what it is. I've got a couple of comments that I'm going to address before we get into this meditation. I can see that people on TikTok saying I have to say your Lemurian video popped up on my page, and I said I know that language. Annie says I got this overwhelming sensation of calmness from listening to Lemurian. Yeah, that's sometimes how it displays. There's different emotions. I've covered it earlier in this video. This is absolutely normal. It's energy. This language carries energy and frequency. And in today's immersion, there will be Arcturian energy and frequency. I'll probably do a separate video on Arcturians because they're a beautiful race of light beings. They've ascended their consciousness from 3D to higher dimensions, and they are here to assist us in our consciousness ascension, in our collective consciousness ascension, so we can become more free and we can make this planet a really beautiful place. So I'll ask you to close your eyes and sit comfortably on your chair. You can put your feet down on the ground if you can, or sit cross-legged, however you want to do it. And I'm going to close my eyes, so I'm going to maybe look a bit odd with my eyes closed, but that's going to help me concentrate and bring this energy down. And what I will ask you to do is to take 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. What we're going to imagine is with every breath out, all the concerns, all the commitments, anything nagging at you, it just melts away. And when you take the breath in, good, vibrant, positive energy enters your body and cleanses it. So in your own tempo, do a couple more breaths like that and imagine all the negativity melting away and clean, fresh, life force energy entering your system. And when your mind is a little bit clearer and calmer, what we're going to imagine is we're going to imagine a stream of energy coming from Mother Earth, from Gaia, and a stream of energy coming from the heavens. And those streams of energy will be entering your head and your root and meeting in your heart. So there is a cool blue stream of energy coming from your crown chakra all the way down through your body and out back into Gaia. And from Gaia, there is warm stream of energy, motherly energy coming from your root chakra through all your body, along your spine, and going up towards heaven. And those streams of energy just meet in your heart. So we connected both to heaven and to earth, to both the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So in a second, I'm going to invite the Arcturians. I'm going to invite the energies so you can meet them, you can experience them, and I'll speak Arcturian light language to help you connect with this energy. So now I request for the Arcturian collective pole of consciousness to send the energy down through my body and onto you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Etarahetera bahetia hashu uruhutia halabahetia mahes atakia bahateme eyachta lehetia bahatea ma ahaseya het rahuturu hatea elachtu eyaha eyahella edyahuturmane kurubahat erahes arati hataleme eyachtur yahashu uturahetea bahes neela elabude eyachtu etikima Nema alech etapare hiama etikiaba namaheta arabe tiama atehaba etarare diaba eteiama etehate etama etiaha. Sorry guys. Now, I request for the energy of understanding who you are, what you're here for, to come down. So I request the Arcturian energy to be sent to you guys, to surround you, to be full of love. And I request that each single one of you gets a full understanding of who you are and experiences unconditional love towards yourself and acceptance of who you are and why you're here. Nema ashe turahaba eterahat etakula abaheta mahasikata baheta nema are eachta alaheta labiyahutura bahashete kitabahas Nemenia abaheta atakura abaheta amahia ilaha 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 atehia parashekuta pasina mana. Sida bahati ishukuta bahatia mahaseka tabaleheti abahasheta manasi iachta 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 elahes arashu urukuta nemaha 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 Eaheshu ukutura atesita adekia adame arhatia halehetia hashaka eahale edabare eta. Now I request that this transmission is sealed in your field and that over the coming minutes, days, weeks, you get a deeper understanding who you are. And when your heart screams for you to express yourself, to be who you want to be who you desire to be, to step into the fullness of your gifts and step into your mission, that you follow your heart boldly and you express yourself boldly. And just know that Arcturians are only an intentional way. You can call upon them as your guides, you can call upon them to help you with this process here on Earth to bring the most out of what you've got. So I seal this moment with gratitude, and I would like you to imagine gratitude swelling in your heart and being sent out into your field, into the ether, and just say thank you to Arcturians for the beautiful energy that is supporting our humanity ascension. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this. Thank you for being here today. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know, and I'll do a few more of these, maybe with different light beings and different light languages. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. See you guys. And again, if you want to join my free class on light languages and an activation, just comment activation. I will send you the link. Thank you so much. Now I have no idea how to turn that off on TikTok. Okay, oh no, touch screen here and mouse here. See you guys. Thank you so much.